Go.
Well, hello, everybody. We are excited to talk about some important news, specifically the Herbalife settlement with the FTC and what this means for the future of network marketing. We're going to just give this about a minute. There's a bunch of folks that are coming on. It's exciting to see some of you folks that I already know, that I'm friends with. And there's a lot of people coming on that are industry leaders wanting to know what our take is on this, since we've been talking about this for years on our blog, with one of the most successful blogs on the net in regards to the home-based business industry and residual income and all of that. So we're really excited to share this information with everybody. And we appreciate your attendance today. I think that this will be some of the most profound information that you have ever heard in regards to the network marketing industry and how everything is about to change. And I believe that there is going to be a huge positive change as a result of this. And hopefully some of you will agree with that. So let's get started. What we're going to talk about today is the important points of the FTC ruling settlement with Herbalife, how this doesn't just affect Herbalife, but the entire MLM industry, the driving force behind the FTC making changes to the multi-level marketing business model, and why the MLM industry is in big trouble. How to get prepared for the changes that are coming, and how to position yourself now before the changes take place. So a little bit about my story, and then I'll pass it over to my business partner. I started in this industry when I was 17 years old in 11th grade, getting ready for college. Didn't have any college education outside of one day, and that was the plan, and didn't work out long term. And I got involved with the industry at 17 years old, became the top 1% of Herbalife. I'm a former Herbalife International Millionaire team member. I was about 30,000 volume points short of the international president's team, but I was in the top upper 1% of the company, and had an organization of over 5,000 distributors. It dwindled down to 56 people ordering at the end, and I lost $1.5 million home. I believe that what you're about to hear will be a extremely positive insight to why not only that happened to me, but why that happens to so many people in the industry, and really probably the driving force behind the FTC doing what they're doing, because I saw the problems written out on the writing on the business model that I was involved with for 11 years, way before it started to crash. And so I've made millions of dollars. I'm now a huge advocate of finding the right business model, and my life has been awesome. So I'm going to pass it over to my business partner, Eric Goldstein.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. And so I actually got started in the home-based business industry about 10 years ago. I was a real estate agent for about 9 years, and did okay with that, and was in the whole entrepreneur sales type stuff for a while. I started an internet company based around real estate where you could find apartments anywhere in the country, and we built that for about 5 years, and then had to kind of pull the plug on that. And I was scrambling around looking to see what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And so as I got back into traditional real estate after that business venture, I found multi-level marketing, and it excited me because, I was always in sales and realized that we were only as good as our next sale. So when somebody told me about residual income, where I could actually do something once and get paid on that activity or that effort over and over, got really excited. I got really pumped up and excited to start in multi-level marketing, and started in that venture, and started to look for ways that I can build that online. Since I was pretty involved with the internet, I knew that there had to be ways of doing that. I quickly found some of the leaders that were in the network marketing industry and the internet marketing world, and started following them, and took a lot of their courses and built good relationships with them, and started doing some trainings for some of the top network marketing, internet marketers at that time, and started building a brand and a blog for myself, and was just doing everything that they were telling me to do, and put out content and position myself as a leader. And I was spending a lot of time learning all of that stuff. And then started bringing people into my, as they called it, my primary business at that time, as I was, but what I found is people weren't sticking around long term. 30, 60, 90 days in, people couldn't duplicate what I was doing, or a lot of them didn't really take too much action, which we'll talk about. And at that point, pretty much people started dropping off, and I got really, really burnt, and just saw that where's all this residual income that everybody was talking about? People weren't staying on the board. They weren't even staying as customers. People were not even sticking around long term. Even if they stopped doing the business, they didn't stay buying those products. And I got burnt, and got introduced to Jay, and really we started creating a great brand together. When I heard his story and why it fell apart and why he figured out why it fell apart, I said, we have to get this information out to the masses, because there's just way too many people being shown that the multi-level marketing industry is a great industry, but nobody's talking about the 95% that don't make any money. And we're here to kind of, we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And that's where this brand started. But we're excited to share this information, guys, on what we're doing here, because it's this industry, everything's going to change. There is going to be a major, major change. And most people, this is the first time you're hearing about that there's even a settlement. But this has been going on for 3 to 4 years. Big hedge fund billionaire in New York City, Bill Ackman, brought Herbalife up on pyramid scheme charges 4 years ago. And this has been going on for a while. And the FTC just this past summer has settled. And now what they settled with Herbalife, that to be deemed not a pyramid scheme, they have to change their entire business model. And they've been ordered to pay a $200 million fine to compensate consumers that have been deceived into believing that they could earn substantial money selling diet, nutritional, and personal care products. Guys, this is serious and going to change the face of the entire industry. If you look at this, the complaint against Herbalife, they also charged the MLM company with their compensation structure that it was unfair because it rewarded distributors for recruiting others to join in order to advance in the marketing program rather than in response to actually retail demand. And actually selling products to a real end-line consumer. This settlement will require Herbalife to fundamentally restructure its business so its participants are rewarded for what they sell, not how many people they recruit. Herbalife's going to have to start operating legitimately, making only truthful claims about how much money its members are likely to be able to make, and it will have to compensate consumers for their losses that they have suffered to these deceptive practices. And that's where the $200 million fine comes in. The settlement announced today that Herbalife is to revamp their compensation so it rewards people for sales to consumers, which we talked about, and it eliminates the incentives in its current system to reward distributors primarily for recruiting. It mandates a new compensation structure, guys. So this is going to be big, and other companies are going to have to follow suit, as you're going to quickly learn. Multi-level compensation that business opportunities participants earn will be driven by retail sales or sales to real end-line consumers. At least 2/3 of the rewards paid by Herbalife to its distributors must be based on retail sales of Herbalife products that are tracked and verified. No more than 1/3 of the rewards can be based on other distributors' limited personal consumption. And so the FTC is really going to make a model out of Herbalife, guys. And what's going to happen, and you're going to see this all roll out in the next 6, 12, 24, 36 months. The FTC said they're going to publish a guideline here. And it's going to be a guidance for what all of these multi-level marketing companies are going to have to comply with. And there's going to be a major, major, major change in the industry. And it's really started already. Look what happened at the big end of last year with Vima. Vima was closed down due to being a pyramid scheme. And they were able to reopen with a new compensation plan. And it was called the 51% rule, where Herbalife is going to be 60-somewhat%. So it's going to get even tighter than what Vima was dealing with. And it said Vima affiliates will only be paid on the volume that is at least 51% customer volume. Again, guys, the FTC wants real customers. They want real business. And Vima had to reopen with this new compensation plan. So it's going to be even stricter coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, the biggest changes in the industry has just happened. I mean, the biggest changes in 70 years of this industry is here. This is the time right now when the entire industry now will never be the same. The first change, one of the biggest changes that the FTC now has completely implemented, is no more requiring people to buy in with massive inventory front loading products. Personal consumption volume is completely limited to a few $100s a month in personal consumption. So if you've got MLM companies where they're claiming people are eating $1,000 or $2,000 a month, that's no longer allowed. No more buying massive inventory loads on the last day of the month with having a volume line. No more paying for recruiting, meaning if I enrolled, let's say, Eric Goldstein for $4,000, I am not going, and Eric just bought that inventory, I am not going to be able to get paid on that. And not only that, but they're going to get rid of, you're going to see this being cleaned up, they're going to get rid of all front loading, that you are not going to be able to front load any type of large volume orders to anybody. And number 3 is no more requiring distributors. This is probably one of the biggest ones, is no more requiring distributors to purchase monthly auto ships to stay actively qualified for their commissions and bonuses. Now, you look at these points right here, folks, the majority of the companies now are going to be gone. Because let's go to the next slide. The driving force behind the FTC making the changes, and this is right from the FTC's website, to protect consumers, prevent fraud, deception, and unfair business practices in the marketplace. So here's the point that I'm trying to make. The FTC wants real business and a real business model, not the fake consumption practices of MLM business models where the majority of the sales come from the upfront inventory loads and the fictitious monthly consumptions that are required by its distributors to stay qualified. You take those two facets now out of the business model of MLM, which is where the majority of the sales come from. I believe we're going to clear out 99.8% of the business models because they won't be able to survive. Now, we've been talking about this for years. As I said, myself and my business partner, Eric, we run one of the most successful blogs talking about the truth behind multi-level marketing and residual income. And it's now what we've been talking about for years is coming to a head. And we want to play a video that now this is one of the blog contents, that one of the pieces of content on our blogs that has went viral all over the internet, and where we are getting calls from industry leaders saying, we've never seen anything put in such a condensed format with going over the problems and the solution if people are going to really have long-term income. So let's play this. It's a short video, about 13 minutes.
Hi, this is Jason Fisher. I'm excited to be here with you today. This will probably be one of the most profound videos in regards to multi-level marketing that you've ever heard, and why so many people struggle in this industry and find it hard to earn long-term residual income. And I feel that I have the right to speak about this because I started my journey in this industry at 17 years old. By the age of 19, I was making $10,000 a month. Bought my first $1.5 million home by age 21. Had over 5,000 distributors within my business, and over the next few short years after that success, that organization dwindled down to 56 people that were active out of 5,000 people. I went on a mission to find out why that happened and why that is so common in the industry as a whole, why so many people jump from company to company trying to figure out the secret of earning long-term residual income. Well, we figured it out. I finally found out why that happens consistently in the industry, the problems that create that situation, and more importantly, the solution if we're going to earn long-term residual income. So after everything fell apart, and I went from 5,000 to 56 people, I sat there, and all of a sudden, an important universal principle came to my mind. And the unbelievable thing is most industry leaders don't understand this principle and how important it is when it's applied to this industry. But I will tell you this, if the principle is applied correctly, there's massive success with lots of residual income. And if it's applied incorrectly, there's massive failure with no residual income in the end. And the universal principle that we're talking about today is the 80-20 rule, meaning that the world is made up of the 80-20. 80% of people don't do much, while 20% do something. Or 80% of the money is earned by 20% of the people. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Take 10 doctors, 10 lawyers, 10 chiropractors, 10 cab drivers. 2 are going to shine and 8 aren't going to do too much. And it's a universal principle that you can't break. And when we apply it to the network marketing industry, the numbers are the same. 80% of people don't do much, while 20% of people do something. Well, then I started thinking, well, what makes this industry work, or what makes the type of businesses work? Numbers. Numbers equal orders. Orders equal residual income. Whoever has the most numbers ordering at the end is going to have the most residual income. The question is there a difference between business model to business model with the outcome at the end? And I'm here to tell you that there is. There's a major difference. Well, I started thinking about if this business is about numbers, then I need to have the most numbers on the board. So I need to go find something that the 80%ers can do, because what I was in was a 20%er deal. The only people ordering at the end were the 20%ers that were trying to stay qualified for their bonuses, their overrides, and their residual income. I didn't have something for the 80s. Who are the 80s? The 80s is the average Joe or Mary, my mother, my sister, my brother, the person that doesn't have any sales experience, doesn't have a lot of drive or tenacity. They're not good at handling rejection, and they're not good at justifying expensive products or services that are new buying habits in people's lifestyle. They're not good at justifying expensive things out in the marketplace that people wouldn't buy long term. Well, when we looked at the industry, it became very clear that the industry didn't have a business for the 80%ers. Because when we looked at the landscape of the MLM industry, they were all 20%er deals. From the price point of the product, the only people that could justify it were the 20%ers. The compensation plans were written for the 20%ers. The only people that could do the sales quotas monthly were the 20%ers. Then all of a sudden, the clouds parted. The problems and the solutions became very clear. And that is that all these companies have great products. They all have great services. So they all do something very, very wrong. And that is that when somebody gets involved with these type of businesses, their buying habits starts changing and their budget starts changing to the tune of $120 to $200 to $250 to $300 a month in products that they never bought before and that they will never buy long term. And when they show their faces the 80%er and they find it hard to do that type of business because they can't justify those type of products in the marketplace, 90 to 120 days after joining, what's the first thing that they cancel? They cancel their auto ship, their monthly consumption of whatever they started buying that they weren't buying 90 to 120 days ago. And not only do they quit the business, but here's the most important piece. They also quit being a number on the board, and they quit being a customer because it didn't make financial sense to stay as a customer. I said to myself, if I could find a business on 2 levels, I was going to have a huge home run. The first was find a business that the average Joe, the average Mary, the average 80%er could do, and they could win at, and they can make money at, and where they didn't have to justify new buying habits. And here was number 2. Find a business that whether the 80%er took action or not, whether they made it happen or not in the business, they still stayed as a customer, and they had overwhelming value to at least stay as a consumer because it made sense to put their money in this store every single month, whether there was a financial gain or not. And once I understood this principle and this concept of the 80-20 and how important it is when it's applied to this industry, my life changed. This little information that we just went over, if you get it, it will change your life forever, because it is absolutely the reason why people either have success or not in this industry. So let's just be clear why multi-level marketing loses the 80%ers and why they come off the board and why the industry always has the problem with keeping people active. It comes down to 3 things. The products in the MLM industry do not compete in the real marketplace against other leading products within their category. They're 2 to 3 times the actual cost. And that is why people do not stay long-term as a long-term customer of an MLM company's products, is because the products are overpriced. Understand this. that if the products are overpriced, we're not going to keep customers. And if the products are overpriced and we're asking people to justify luxury items on top of it, the 80%ers are going to find it difficult to build a business, and they're eventually going to quit as a customer themselves. Number two is the sales quotas. What the MLM company is asking people to consume every single month to stay actively qualified in their business. $120 a month in coffee, or $150 or $200 a month in juice. That's not only products that people never bought before at prices that they would never buy long term, but you're asking people to consume more than what they would normally consume just to stay actively qualified. That is the number two reason of why we lose the 80%ers. And here's the third reason, is the majority of people in any MLM organization, they never get a check. They never get a commissionable check. Pay the least amount of people within an organization a paycheck, and that's how you will rot away the 80%ers and lead you down to nothing when it comes to long-term residual income. Understand, products not competing in the multi-level marketing industry is the biggest problem. And then asking people to buy more than what they normally would buy is the biggest problem. Multi-level marketing stands for multi-levels of distribution. In most cases, outside manufacturer makes the products. They mark it up and sell it to the MLM. The MLM marks it up and sells it to the distributors or the reps. And then the distributor and the reps double the cost and sell it to the end-line consumer. And by the time the product gets down to the end-line consumer, an MLM, it does not compete in the real marketplace against other leading products. That is the problem of why we lose the 80%ers. So to prove and substantiate what I was just talking about with losing the 80%ers, let's look at the industry stats. Here's what might shock all of you. There's 8 or 9 billion-dollar MLM companies in the United States. Now understand this. This is where it gets scary. Only 5 to 11% of their sales is domestic, is in the United States. Meaning that these companies, the majority of their business is overseas. They've scorched enough territories outside of the United States to successfully come up with a billion-dollar-plus corporation. But what it shows is that there's no long-term consumption in any one marketplace because they don't have real customers buying real products long-term. The only people that are active or staying active in an MLM company in any one marketplace are the 5%ers and the 20%ers that are trying to stay active for their bonuses, their overrides, and their residuals. There's no real customers buying real products. And when you look at these billion-dollar MLM companies, they're all in 40 to 50 to 60 to 130 countries, having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% in every single country, and coming up with a successful story in the sense of sales. But where is the success of the long-term residual income if there's no long-term consumption in any one marketplace in the history of the MLM industry? That's scary. The story sounds great as a whole, but in reality, when you only have 5 to 11% in the United States, Amway only has 5% of its $12 billion in the United States. They've scorched enough territories where they came up with $12 billion. But where is the long-term residual income if there's no consumption? It became very clear to me. So let's talk about the solution. This is the most exciting part. It's real simple, the solution. What we have to do is 3 things. Number 1 is have consumables that people have to buy and have them for all. Have necessity products. Have to buy products. Don't create a new buying need or a new budget in someone's life. Create products that people have been buying their whole life, but make them more natural, more green, which is a big thing in today's society, but have necessities that people have to buy, have to use, and have to reorder. It's not a choice or a choice of buying. Here's number 2. Price them 30 to 50% less grocery store pricing, less Walmart pricing, less Costco's or BJ's. If you've got necessities that you've got to buy and you've got the products 30 to 50% less than where you've been buying, you're going to stay as a customer. And here's number 3. Make the partnership between the consumer and the manufacturer. Instead of having multi-levels of distribution, have it just from the consumer with the manufacturer, where the manufacturer is only asking someone to buy a few products a month, a very low monthly qualification, instead of the average of $150 to $200 to $300 a month and things that people never bought before. Drop that 2 to 3 times lower. Have it be $50 to $60 instead of the hundreds of dollars in products you never bought before. If you've got that, then you've got a solution that will provide long-term residual income and long-term customers buying for a lifetime. So we found an established company that has over 60% of its business in the United States. Unlike the typical MLM industry average of the billion-dollar companies that have 5 to 11% of its sales in the United States, we have 60%, which proves if we have 60% that we're keeping the 80s on the board and we have real products that compete in the real marketplace, which is huge, creating lifelong residual income. We're growing like a startup company, but we're not a startup company. We grew by over $160 million in the last 24 months, which is just absolutely incredible. Having consumables for all is the key, as we just mentioned, but we have 400 plus consumables, things that people have to buy, have to reorder, and have to purchase every single month, not spending any new money whatsoever. So we have pricing, 30 to 50% less grocery store pricing, which is huge, less Walmart and Costco's and BJ's, as well as the partnership with the manufacturer to buy at wholesale every month and to stay qualified to earn commission. It's $50 to $60 a month. Out of 400 necessities that are priced below grocery store pricing, it's absolutely brilliant and it works. There's no new money and there's no new buying habits. This information has literally not only changed my life, but has changed the lives of thousands of other people. I am so happy that I've learned this information and that it finally became very clear on what the industry problems are and, more importantly, what the solution is. If we're going to throw our time and our energy and our reputation into something to produce massive success when it comes to this industry of earning lifelong residual income, I'm excited to share this journey with you, and I appreciate you listening to this information today. If this information made sense, please fill out your information below to find out the business model that we chose to partner up with, and so that we can answer any further questions that you have. Thanks for joining us, and have
pretty amazing. And this is what we've been talking about for years, and it is definitely something that has gone viral. It is making a tremendous amount of sense to many people. So we're going to just finish up here and just share a little bit more based upon the solution. So we're going to go to the next slide. And here's what I want you to know. I mean, we're so confident in the information that we're talking about and how unsuccessful the multi-level marketing industry has been. And I commend the FTC for stepping in. And doing what they're doing. I mean, we even offered a reward for $10,000. We wanted, it is awesome. This is a great campaign that went viral as well, where we put a $10,000 reward for anybody to identify any successful MLM company founded in the last 30 years. They'd get paid $10,000. Here was the definition. The company must have reached $300 million in sales to consumers in the United States. There was the key word. And then must have grown the following 3 years in the United States after that. The company must have grown last year in the United States. There wasn't one company. There wasn't one business model. There wasn't anybody that got $10,000. It's still offered today because there still will never be one. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Eric, but this is important, though. This is, it's important finding a business model that is compliant and that will work for the masses.
Yeah. And guys, we've been sharing this information for a while with our organization, and our organization has been out talking to many people, sharing that video. That video has gone viral, and we have systems in place where people are using that duplicated content, and it's working extremely, extremely well. And it's what we've been pushing for. It's what, people need a real business. And now we're excited, and we commend the FTC for standing up and cleaning up the industry. And it's just going right in alignment with what we've been talking about. So you really, you only have a handful of choices for yourself. So it's really about how to get prepared for the changes that are coming, guys. It's not if the changes are going to happen. These 3 big changes to the MLM industry that these 3 big points, it's just a matter of time. The FTC is going to publish that guideline. So you need to know how to position yourself, and you need to know how to do it right now before the wave crashes. So what are your options? Option 1, stay with your current company. And if they won't make the changes, and they'll wait until the FTC shuts them down, or they'll make the changes and the compensation plan won't be beneficial to to you making money. And the company probably won't last very long, guys. We talked about, look what happened with Vima, right? We talked about that. Let's see how Vima is doing with the new comp plan changes that were required by the FTC to stay in business, because they had to make these changes to reopen again. And this was early this year, just shy of 3 months ago, Vima introduced a new compensation plan. This was required in order for the company to restart its MLM business opportunity with the previous plan deemed conducive to a pyramid scheme, exactly what happened with Herbalife. Following implementation of Vima's retail-centric compensation plan, only 119 Vima affiliates qualified for commissions in this 3-month period, 90-day period. And the total payout was $30,000 in close to 90 days to 119 people, guys. You don't have to be too smart to do that math. It's about $260 per affiliate in 90 days. There is going to be no money left in these compensation plans. So that's where you're at if you stay there and your company actually does make the changes. Or you can move to another MLM company. That's option 2. But they're going to have to meet the same requirements as your current company. So the results are going to be exactly the same. So option 3, which we started to talk about at the end of that MLM Real Truth video, is find a business model, a real business model that's already in compliance with what the FTC wants, where there's no inventory loading, you're not being paid for recruiting, and there's no requirements to purchase monthly auto ships to stay actively qualified for commissions and bonuses. So, Jay, I'm going to pass this back over to you.
Yeah, this is what I love, a business model that's already been tested and proven to work for the past 30 years, that is in complete compliance, 100%, where we can't even say this, and we're not going to say this, but everything so far that has been implemented by the FTC is exactly what we've been doing. And it's about time the FTC models a business model that has never hurt a soul, and that truly does produce long-term residual income. Number one, we're currently the fastest growing direct sales company in the United States and also internationally over the last 6 months, which is completely huge. We are the number 1 sales volume, direct sales company, number 1 in sales volume in the United States. There's no one bigger than us. Even though we are 11 times smaller than Amway, we do more sales than they do in the United States because we got the 80 staying on the board, and we finally got something that's working. We're on pace to grow $500 million this year alone. It took us 19 years to get to $500 million. 8 years later, another $500 million. 4 years later, another $500 million. We're going to do $500 million this year alone in what took us 19 years to do. This is the first time in history, Eric, where you've got over a 30-year-old company that is growing faster than any startup deal, and that's what they are, deal, that has ever been put out on the market. So if you want to talk about getting in on the ground floor with a solid 30-year-old backed company, then yeah, that's what we've got going on right now. Compared to the MLMs, with only 5 to 11% of their business in the United States, like we said in point number 4, we're the only direct sales company doing over $1 billion a year in sales, with over 60% being right in our own backyard, unlike the 5 to 11% that is in the typical backyards of every single MLM company out there, even the most successful. Documented 96% reorder rate, with 100% of the product going to the end line consumer for consumption, because everyone is just a customer within our business model. No MLM business model structure whatsoever, no multi-levels of distribution, consumer direct to the manufacturer, $111 million cash investment in the past few years that is completely debt-free. And here's what's exciting about the $111 million cash investment. It was all done domestically. It was all done for domestic business that was without any overseas investment at all, part of that $111 million. That's how solid our business model and how fast it's growing right here in our own backyard. And we actually can stand to house over $5 billion a year in sales, and it's completely already paid up for to that point. We're going to finish out with 1.8 billion this year. Why all of this success? No MLM, manufactured direct to the consumer, no distributors, no retailing. Everyone buys direct at wholesale. Necessity products, no new money, things that people have to buy. Better quality products, more green, more natural, more organic. Simple concept of just switching stores. The average person, the 80%er, can share this. The average person can share with somebody how to save money compared to the grocery store brands where you're 30 to 50% less non-toxic here, that are more green, organic than the store products that they've been buying, products that actually compete in the real marketplace because we got rid of the multi-levels of distribution. When you've got a simple concept of no new money, simply switching stores, buying things you've already bought your whole life at better pricing, at better products, quality, it's a simple concept. And the reason why it all ties in together, it's a low monthly personal production that needs to be met in order to buy it wholesale through the manufacturer directly. The typical MLM, like you heard, it's $120, $200, $300 a month, Eric, right? And products that people never bought, never used, would never buy long term. The only reason why they're buying that is to stay qualified for the business opportunity. When you drop it down to 50 to 60 bucks, and now an update to that video, we've got 500 necessity products, even coffee. I mean, that competes with Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and everything that people already buy in. If you drop that down to something that even an average, that just even a single person can do, forget a family of 3 to 4 can do, you can keep masses of numbers on the board and have a business model that's based only on consumption with real residual income. So, you know, this is what's exciting, and what's exciting is you get to partner up with us, and maybe that doesn't sound so exciting yet, but I will tell you this, between me making millions of dollars in the industry, and I made millions before I lost it in the wrong business, now I've made millions in the right business, and I've helped now others make millions, and that's what's exciting. But Eric, tell them about what's exciting about partnering up with us directly, because we got a lot of great stuff we got going on now.
Yeah, guys, one, you get a compensation plan that rewards you tremendously with great bonuses and a strong residual income based on consumer acquisition, not business builder buy-ins. I mean, that's huge, and you got to have that to stay in alignment and compliance with the FTC. Support coaching and mentoring by myself and Jay. I mean, we work full-time from home, and, you know, we have one of the largest organizations in the company. So we have a lot of training, one-on-one mentoring support by us. I mean, we're available, guys, where we throw in 100% with you to really help you build this business. And that's huge. I mean, and that's not just, you know, some air that we're blowing out there. I mean, this is honest, serious one-on-one mentoring where we handhold you through this business. A team training system, very, very extensive lead generation platform on there. Getting started training, everything, very, very high-tech system to help you run, manage, and build your business. And since Jay and I are getting such an overwhelming response from this information and these campaigns that we're running, you'll be able to take advantage of our personal production. And you'll also be able to take advantage of leads from our lead generation campaigns that we're running here, just like you're seeing here today. So how to partner with us. Guys, schedule a free call with us. We want to talk to you. We want to take it off the internet where, you know, where you see a lot of systems out there where everything is, you know, basically they're telling you people are just going to show up in your business with a, you know, without you speaking with them. Guys, we're real people. We want to talk to you. We want to have a conversation, hear a little bit about your experience, and then share exactly what we do. Talk about our business model. And then talk about how we can partner up. And you can see the link there on the screen. You can go to timeandfreedom.com/apply. Also, there should have been a button that just popped up on your screen that says schedule a free call. Head over there, book a time on our calendar. Guys, we're blocking out a lot of time right now on our calendar for these campaigns. And, you know, take advantage of that. Find out if this is for you. The one thing I can say is if you do book a call with us, make sure you block out that time. Respect our time as we respect yours. You know, don't book a time and not show up. So, you know, just treat it seriously, guys. We've helped a lot of people earn solid, reliable residual income, especially the people that have had the multi-level marketing experience there. So Jay, I don't know if you want to say anything else there before we move along.
No, we're just excited to talk with you and share with you what we believe to be the only business model that produces long-term income. So we're excited.
Yeah. So guys, head over there, timeandfreedom.com/apply. Let's hear a little bit from some people. Maybe you're still kind of on the fence and wondering, if this could work for you. And guys, and there's no commitment to that free call. Book a call on our calendar. We love talking to people who've had the experience like us in the MLM industry. And we've turned our lives around, and we've turned a lot of other people's lives around. I mean, Robert here from Georgia works directly with Jay, and he had a 12-year career in multi-level marketing. The majority of time, his income exceeded over $20,000 a month. I think he got it up to close to $40,000 a month. And as soon as he stopped working, his income would immediately begin to drop. And at one point, he had over 20,000 people in his business, in his downline there. But in the end, there were only 121 actively ordering. Guys, we see this all the time with leaders. We know there's a lot of leaders looking at this information, and this probably rings true to you as well. Definitely book a time. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Rob thought it was only him until he heard the information that we shared on this webinar. And now him and his wife get to enjoy real residual income, full-time income from home, solid business working with us. And then Joe from Nebraska. I've been personally working with Joe over the past 25 years. He's been in more MLMs than he cares to admit. When I found Joe, he was burnt. He was tired. He's put thousands on the board, and several of those deals is exactly what they are. And in each of them, they brought it down to almost nothing. Nobody left, no residual income. Now, after listening to the information in this webinar, it all makes sense. He's wished he heard it many years ago, and Joe has got a nice business now working with us as well. And Christy, who Jay works directly with as well, 10 years ago, she was looking for a way to work from home so she could be at home with her kids. She got involved with a multi-billion-dollar weight loss company, and she was there for 10 years. She was successful with getting distributors and retail customers, but she was not successful with keeping them long-term. So no residual income. And after hearing the information within this webinar and this information that we've been sharing, she finally understood why. And now Christy's got a great business with her and her husband working with us here, guys. So really, guys, take the time, book a call. This can make the difference of you creating some great secondary income, part-time income or full-time income, and truly changing your life and getting away from these deals that pitch all of this life-changing residual income. And, if a lot of you that are listening to this information, you've been chasing that dream for a long time. It's time to, really take a look at something that has a solid residual income. No fluff, no hype. Book a call with us. We'd love to talk to you, and we would love to really show you and share with you exactly what we're doing. Anything else, Jay, before we sign off?
That's it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending time. We understand everyone's time is valuable, and we appreciate all of you.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great rest of the day.